Hey, welcome back to Cooking with Legs. Today I'm doing my version of Pollo Asada. I say my version because Pollo Asada and Carne Asada are a lot like many recipes out there, like your gumbos and red beans and rice and chicken pot pie, where there's millions of different versions out there. So this is something I've kind of settled on. I am going to take out a lot of the heat for the sake of my son and my daughter. They're not huge fans of a lot of spice punch yet, but I am going to want to make sure I retain that flavor. So what I'm going to do is marinate it with some orange juice, some lime juice, some achiote, salt, pepper, garlic, fresh onion, and fresh cilantro. Let that sit in there for a couple hours, and I'm going to put it on the grill with some, make sure I have some good mesquite smoke going when I put it on there. To me, that mesquite flavor is really important when you're doing the Mexican meats. I think that's just a huge characteristic to it that you can't replicate with anything else that you can buy in a bottle or a jar. So I want to make sure that I have that in there. I'm also going to, from my wife and I, going to have that on a bed of field greens with some corn, sweet corn, pinto beans, as well as some fajita vegetables that I'm going to cook down. You know, onion, red bell pepper, jalapeno, garlic, some lime juice. Cook that down. I absolutely love that. And it's a Pico de Gallo that's going to have a little bit of heat to it. And that'll be for us. The kids are probably just going to have the chicken on a burrito or a taco. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started with the marinade. And we need to butterfly the chicken breast. Want to make sure that's butterflied on there because I don't want it to spend a lot of time on the grill and dry out. So I want to butterfly that and pound it even so that it cooks nicely. I'm going to go indirect heat first and then direct heat to get some grill marks on it. Anyway, let's get started with the chicken and the marinade. This has oil in it already, just a little bit, not much, but it's a nice place to start with for the marinade. So I'm going to squeeze 2 oranges in here. I'm cutting the butt off of this one because I'm going to just slice it all the way through and just julienne it. I'm not dicing it. If I was dicing it, I'd have left the butt on there. Alright, to this, we're going to add this Goya, it's achiote powder. It's any decent grocery store that has a reasonable amount of either international or Hispanic ingredients will probably carry this. Some will even have achiote paste. The place here doesn't have the paste, otherwise I'd have got that. So I'm just going to use 2 of these packages to add to this, along with some cumin and some of this Tajin. I like Tajin stuff in here. Quick note of that is actually Tajin, achiote, cumin, and paprika, and very generous on the paprika. I try to reserve a little bit of this on the side to use as like a barbecue sauce, if you will, since we are doing the grill. Not much, just a little bit. All right, so now we have the chicken set up and in the marinade. We're going to start with just prepping the vegetables that are going to go with that on the side. Sorry for the sun behind me, but not much I can really do about the sun. It's the Jesus light bulb. We're going to do onion, part of a red bell pepper, and I have a little bit of one left over from a week or so ago. So I'm not even going to use half of this. I have other plans for the rest of that. And the jalapeno. Mostly what I'm looking for. I started throwing jalapeno in this because I like the color contrast between the red and the green and the white. That's done. Pico de Gallo. I'm going to just take all of the insides of the tomato out, throw that in the trash. And that we're going to add some red onion and then some jalapeno. Probably just gonna eat half of this. I guess I'll look and see how much I get after I dice it. I'm just planning on using half of it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder in there. Not much, just a little bit. Some lime juice. Stir that up and make sure everything gets incorporated well. Done. All right, everything's prepped. Everything's gonna get put in the fridge. I'm gonna clean up a little bit and we'll get stuff on the grill in a couple hours. Hold the camera steady. All right, so it's been a few hours. I'm gonna get started with the veg first and I'm gonna head outside to the grill with the chicken. I just don't want the chicken to be hot and fresh and then the vegetables to be just getting started. So I'm gonna get that done, then I'll head out. The iron's nice and hot. Got just enough oil at the bottom of the pan to coat it. And we're just getting up the veg. Just going to season a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Just a little bit. See the edges along here where it's starting to turn black? Yeah, now it's time to add the lemon juice. The lime juice, rather. Actually, adding lime juice and chicken stock here. And that's going to reduce down pretty quick. I'm just going to want to let this reduce down to where it's almost like a really like a thick sauce. That's what we want, just like that. I'm gonna kill it now because I'm gonna reheat this. It's fired up for just a few minutes after the chicken's done, and I don't want to get all of that juice float away. So this is good right here. So here we are by the grill. I know what you're gonna see me do is probably not the right way to do things because grill experts always tell me that I'm wrong with stuff. I'm not a grill expert, but it works for me, and the food tastes good, and that's really all I care about. First thing I do, I have this little smoke box in there. It's a propane grill. So use a smoke box to get the wood flavors. So just put a bunch of mesquite in here or hickory or whatever I'm using. I'm using mesquite because we're doing the Pollo Asada. If I was doing pork or something a little more southern or ribs especially, I'd be using hickory. Just put that on there. Close up the lid. I'll slide that to the back so that I still have the front real estate to work with. And I'm going to light all of the burners first because I'm going to use indirect heat, but I want to pull the heat of the pit up first. Alright, so we're at 600 degrees. We've got smoke coming up, and we got the fire turned off on half the grill. So we're going to put the chicken down, close the lid, and let it go for a few minutes. Pretty color. That's fire's over here, no fire over here. We're going to flip it in a few minutes, brush it with the leftover marinade, and then after that we'll go ahead and put it under the fire and get some pretty grill marks. So it's time to flip. Alright, so we got the direct heat on underneath. We're just going to brush it with the leftover marinade that we set on the side earlier. Brush this, then flip, and brush the other side. Alright, time to shut it down and pull them off.
The wife's gonna eat 3 of them before everybody else gets them.
You heard that straight from her own mouth hole.